Hello everybody and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we will talk about items, how to use them and what is the best build for each character. Many of you ask me what items I'm using. So I can tell you what items I'm using for each character, but this may be not so good for you. Every player feels what's best for him, so I can tell you just what I like and why. These items I'm not using anymore. I used to, but now I'm not using anymore. So I will tell you why. Morning coffee, fire repellent and snorkel are just for playing very defensive, but I don't like to play in solo so defensive, and in squad or trio you don't have time to hide or to play seek and hide with the enemies. That's why I don't use them anymore. Doctor's coat I cannot use because I'm so dumb. All the time I forgot to press the medkit, so I'm dying with the medkit in my pocket. That's very dumb, and that's why I all the time I'm using adrenaline shot. I have to admit I'm very dumb. Clown nose and guard badge just for fun, if you want to fool around and if you want to see everybody with showing you that clown face. I don't know, for me it's not interesting. I don't think it's useful. The guard badge, okay, you can use it to make the guards to be your allies, but I don't think it's so useful, considering that the guards are not so strong and they die real quick. Maybe the legendary guard can help you a bit, but maybe just for fun. Now let's talk about each character. First one, Buck. For Buck, when I play in solo mode, I always like to have the vampire teeth, because when I'm a little bit damaged, they can fix my health. The cluster bomb, the damage I do are very high. The jungle shoes, because Buck, you know, he's very slow. And of course, always I have the adrenaline shot, because I always forget to press the medkit and I'm dying. Sometimes I'm using the nitro spear and I'm not using the jungle shoes. Even I will be a little bit slow, the damages that I can do with the spear are considerably high. So this is the build I'm using mostly when I play in solo with Buck. In multiplayer mode, duo, trio and squad, I'm using the same build, but I'm replacing the cluster bomb with the defibrillator. The defibrillator, it is very important to have when you play duo, trio and squad. Mostly in squad is very important to have. The victory depends many times on how fast the teammates are revived. And here is my build when I play in multiplayer mode. Next one is Bruce. When I play solo with Bruce, I'm using almost the same: vampire teeth, nitro spear, jungle shoes, and of course the adrenaline shot. Why? You know that the vampire teeth are very good when you need to gain extra health. The nitro spear I'm using for both, for moving a little bit faster and also for the damages that I can do with the nitro spear. Jungle shoes, because all we know that Bruce is very slow, and adrenaline shot I already told you. So here is my build for Bruce in solo. When I go duo, trio and squad, I'm using also the same, almost the same build, just replacing the nitro spear with the defibrillator. And here is my build when I play in multiplayer with Bruce. Next one is Finn. Finn is one of my favorite characters, and when I play in solo I'm using the cluster bombs, I'm using the jungle shoes, nitro spear, and of course, like always, the adrenaline shot. I'm using these items because I really like to move a little bit faster with Finn. That's why I'm using the jungle shoes. The cluster bomb can do a lot of damage with this cluster bomb. And nitro spear I really love because I'm doing all the time the super jump move. So that combination between the active of Finn and the spear. Doing this combination results in a super jump which does incredible high damages, being able to kill one guard with one bite. And here you have the build I'm using when I play solo with Finn. When I go in multiplayer with Finn, I'm using the same build, but I'm replacing the cluster bombs with the defibrillator. Like I said for many times before, the defibrillator it's a must when you play duo, trio, and mostly in squad. And here it is my build when I play multiplayer. Next one is the newest character, Flamingo Milo. So when I play solo with him, I'm using the bandage, I'm using the knockback spear because I don't want that anybody to be too close to me. I'm using the nitro bow as I like to shot from a long range, and of course the adrenaline shot. Here you have my build for solo, and now when I go in multiplayer mode, I'm using the same build like always, but just replacing the bandage with the defibrillator. Next one is Fuzzy. I used not to play so much with this character, but lately I discovered that I like it. And in solo I'm using all the time the bandage, the nitro bow, the knockback spear, and the adrenaline shot. Bandage I like very much because it can cure me. Also I'm on the move, so there's no need to stay like the happy treats. I'm using the nitro bow as I like the range that I have with this item. Also the knockback spear allows me to keep my enemies not so close to me. So this is my Fuzzy with the build that I'm using in solo. Now going on duo, trio and squad, I'm using the same, but I'm just replacing the bandage with the defibrillator like I did to other characters also. Of course that each one of you can find another build to use for any character, but from my experience I've noticed that I play better using this build. And here is my build for multiplayer. And now one of the strongest characters in the game, Jade. When I play solo with her, I'm using the vampire teeth, the nitro spear, jungle shoes and adrenaline shot. Damages very high with the nitro spear, and this results in a very quick restore of the health based on the vampire teeth. Sometimes I like to replace the vampire teeth with the bandage, and any other times I like to replace it with the inflated muscles. I like all these three items, but mostly I'm using the vampire teeth. And here is my build that I use in solo games. When I go in multiplayer mode, I'm using the same build, but I'm replacing just the nitro spear with the defibrillator. Why I'm doing this? I consider that all the weapons and the active of Jade are strong enough to do as much damages as the vampire teeth needs to restore my life quick. In this case, I think that the vampire teeth are enough as a defensive measure, and there's no need for the bandage or I don't know, happy treats or something. And here is my build for the multiplayer mode. And now here comes Donna. Donna the crocodile. In solo I like to use the shotgun, I like to use the nitro bow, the jungle shoes and the adrenaline shot. Of course the damages are very high with the shotgun, and I really love the range I have with the nitro bow. Jungle shoes, normally this is a tank and it moves very slow. We need the buff, so the jungle shoes are just what we need. And here is my build for solo. Okay, when I go in multiplayer, in squad, I just replace the nitro shotgun with the defibrillator, and here we are. Nothing too different. And here is my build for multiplayer. Now we are going to Duke. Duke, another tank character. When I go in solo, I like to have vampire teeth, the nitro bow, jungle shoes, and of course the adrenaline shot. The bow is very strong, does many damages, that's very good for the vampire teeth. Jungle shoes, it's a buff because we really need a way to make Duke to move a little bit faster. And of course the adrenaline shot to automatically take the medkit. And here is my build for playing solo with Duke. Now when we go in multiplayer, like I did before, I just replace the vampire teeth with the defibrillator. In multiplayer I count on my teammates to revive me if I'm dying, so I don't need any measure to restore my life with an item. Here is my build for squad. And now we are going to Earl the crab. In solo I really love to play with using the bandage, the adrenaline shot, nitro shotgun and the knockback spear. Knockback spear keeps the enemies at a decent distance. Very good damages with the nitro shotgun. The bandage help us gain a little bit heals back, and adrenaline prevents instant dying. Here is the build in solo mode. Now when I go multiplayer, I'm using almost the same thing, but I just replace the bandage with the defibrillator, and here we are. This is my build for multiplayer. Next one is the tricky and sneaky Larry. When I play solo with him, I'm using the bandage, nitro bow, nitro shotgun and the adrenaline shot. With these items you can have the most efficient Larry, considering the damages that he does in this way. Of course, combined with his ability to hide, to become invisible. And here is my build for Larry in solo. When we go in multiplayer, just replacing the bandage with the defibrillator and everything will be okay. We will have a good teammate. And here is the build for multiplayer. And now we are going fast to Lizzie. She is so cute and very powerful. I'm using in solo the knockback spear because I want to keep everybody at distance, not to kill me so fast. Also, the same reason is why we are using the helium canister. Also, the nitro bow gives us a good range, and the adrenaline shot, we know everybody for what is it. This is the build in solo, and when I go in multiplayer, we are just replacing one item with the defibrillator, and here we are. And here is my build for multiplayer. And now we are going to Louie. Louie, it's again one of my favorite. Very nice, and I really love to play with him. I'm using the vampire teeth, the knockback spear, helium canister and adrenaline shot. You can figure out why. And here is my build for solo, and when we go in squad we are just replacing the vampire with the defibrillator, and here we are. And the build again for multiplayer. Now we are going forward to Molly. With her sometimes I'm using the nitro shotgun, sometimes I'm using the Molotov bomb, and this is my build that I usually do. And in multiplayer, just replacing the shotgun, and again the build. And we're going to Nyx. I like to use the nitro bow, but also sometimes I like to use the shotgun. Nyx is very powerful using the shotgun. And the cluster bomb, of course, very useful. The build, and like I did with all the other characters in multiplayer, just replacing one item with the defibrillator, and the build again. Now for Ollie, nitro bow, cluster bomb, knockback spear, because you don't want that anybody gets so close to you. Adrenaline shot, I already explained why. And the build for it. Now in multiplayer, I'm just replacing one item again with the defibrillator, but basically we need some items to keep. And the build again. And we are going now to Pepper. Pepper is very powerful, and it depends the way you want to play. I prefer to use in solo the Molotov bomb and the cluster bomb, and of course the knockback spear, as nobody can be so close to me. And the build. And in duo or multiplayer, just again replacing one item. The Molotov cannot be used anyway in squad, so I replace it with the defibrillator. And now to Shelly. Shelly is very powerful with the shotgun, so the nitro shotgun will just give her a big buff. She has a good range also, so the nitro shot bow is very good. The build. And in multiplayer, we're just replacing the bandage with the defibrillator, and we have our build for multiplayer. And going forward to Skippy, I'm using these items. The nitro bow, it takes considerably damages, and that will be very good to use together with the vampire teeth. You can move everywhere, even on the water, if you have the holy sandals. For multiplayer, just switching one item, and we have the build like we did before. And now Steve. He is very powerful, so does lot of damages. I'm using always the nitro bow and the nitro shotgun, and of course the vampire teeth for gain extra health, and sometime replacing with the nitro spear. And the vampire with the bandage. I play often like this in multiplayer, just replacing one item, and the bandage is the most common item that I replace when I do in multiplayer. And this is the build. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope also that this was kind of useful for you. See you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and maybe a comment, a question, or some ideas for the new videos. Bye bye.